Hey guys, my name is Celeste Bunch. This is my presentation on something that I believe my small town, Athens, Tennessee, would need. I'm about an hour away from where we go to school at, so this is kind of a different location, different resources. This is something that we don't have that I feel would be very important in our community. I could not get it to work on the slideshow, so this is what we're working with. How would this benefit my community? Here's an example of a Women and Children's Center in New Orleans. This is just kind of showing you that this is a thing. It's everywhere, and it's very beneficial to any community that it's in. Here is kind of the hook grabber. Something crazy that I did not think would be, this much, would be happen this often, is what I'm trying to say. 1 in 4 women will experience domestic abuse, or domestic violence during her lifetime. So that means if you have 4 friends, that's how I'm thinking about it. Like 4 of my friends together, at least one of them will experience domestic abuse. And that was a shocker to me when I saw that statistic. So that goes kind of with my main point. One of my main points, reducing the outcomes for domestic abuse and the effects on women. I would really love to see this number be drastically reduced because women are able to get away, they're able to start over, have a new life. And even if we couldn't reduce this number, reduce the number after domestic abuse. Who goes back? Who moves on? Who seeks better? My other point that I wanted to say is if we had a abuse center in my town, that would really give my county a sense of unitement, and not only my county but surrounding counties. So here's kind of a map of my county. Here's Athens, and here's some of the surrounding counties. This is Monroe. Sorry guys, this is Ray, Meigs. And then we have a lot. There's Cleveland, like Bradley County, and to me, Knoxville, that's a surrounding place. And then Chattanooga, we're kind of right in the middle of everything. So I feel like it would be very, very beneficial for people everywhere surrounding us if we had that, that source for women. And so if we did have that, my community, I feel like we get a sense of coming together. They would provide opportunities to volunteer, jobs for people. Not only would this benefit the mothers and the children, it would benefit us. I feel like I would get a sense, of feeling I could help these women. A sense of, feeling good about myself and feeling good for them, that I'm making a difference in my community. So I feel like this would be very beneficial in that aspect. In my community, it's not like it's divided, but we don't really have something like that bringing us close together. My church, we do outreaches, but it's not the same as being able to be there with these women who need help and being able to provide that for their children and being able to donate, clothes, blankets, groceries, just feeling that sense of fulfillment in that way, in that aspect. And then talking about fulfillment, not only would we feel fulfilled, they would. That this would provide these women and their children with all the stuff that they lack in their lives. And it would give them the opportunity to leave that toxic relationship and find peace for them and their children. And just give them a chance to start over and find new life and bring back that spark in them, which I feel like is really important now because it's hard on women. It's really hard, living in this society, and this would benefit us a lot. Especially, we're kind of rural, and I feel like there's a lot of women who kind of take the abuse and take the violence, and you don't have to do that, and you shouldn't have to do that. You should be able to have the resources, and just because you don't have the resources to leave doesn't mean that you should be stuck. So that's really my main point is I don't want women in my county or my surrounding counties to not be able to leave because they don't have resources. This should be a resource for them, and that's why I picked this. And I also picked it from personal experience. I was raised by my dad because my mom did not have the resources for me when they split. So, maybe things would have ended differently if she would have had the resources and I could have been raised by my mother, and probably would have been a totally different story. But I was raised by my dad, and I'm still thankful for that. But I'm just saying, in a lot of situations, there's not a dad. There's not, somebody else who can take the child. And if there is a dad, they're abusive. And I just got really lucky in that situation because if it wasn't for my dad, my mom, And then after that, since she didn't have those resources, she ended up being in jail and falling in the wrong path. And I just don't want that for the women here in Athens and surrounding. And so kind of to conclude, I just think that this would be amazing. And think about your own experiences in your life. That's what I had to do, was kind of reflect on my life and think about your life and how this would change lives in your town, not just my town. Do you know anybody who goes through domestic violence or who did and who came out of it? Do you know a woman who went to a children's shelter? Do you know kids who lived in a children's shelter? And maybe, if the mother didn't have those resources, that were gave up for adoption. And just that kind of thing. That made me really reflect on this. And in all, I just feel like this would be very huge for my community. There's a lot of statistics on it. I only showed you one. But it's huge. I mean, women go through domestic abuse every day, and we don't see it. And these children go through it too, and they deserve better, and the women deserve better. And that's what I'm advocating for today. So thank you for listening to my speech. I hope everybody has a great day.